I would think if you have more than 5,000 friends on Facebook, that's a good number. I would think if you have more than 5,000 followers on Twitter, that's a good number.
But 5,000 is the limit on Facebook.
No, not on a fan page.
Oh, yeah.
Streams, 50,000 a track would be nice. Those are numbers. Those are safe numbers. Doesn't mean you get a deal, but you get a meeting.
Okay. And that's videos and audio streaming?
Yeah.
Those are similar numbers.
I got 5 minutes. Really? It's only 11:37. Okay. Yeah.
There's a number of companies that you could pay to alter your views.
Right.
How's that regulated?
It's not regulated. I'm guessing you came in a little late also. The labels take into account that you can massage some of these numbers. But it's very difficult, if not impossible, to massage all of the numbers, not unless you've got a very, very large budget. So they take into consideration that if you're an up-and-coming act and you're putting all of your disposable income into master recordings and your live performances and equipment, you probably don't have an extra couple $100,000 laying around to game YouTube and to game all these other social media platforms. But can you do it once you have that kind of money? Oh yeah, of course you can. They're numbers, they can be fixed. No, no, 13 years. I got a couple extra. Yeah.
So, if you have your album done and you release it in increments of 3 or 2 or 3 to build your numbers, let's say you get your numbers, and then you get some interest, and someone wants to sign you, do they need you to create a whole new group of music at that point, or can they sometimes really re-release what you've already, if you've already got it down?
Sure, I'll give you the lawyer's answer.
Yeah.
It depends. Did anyone not hear the question? You did not hear the question? Well, wake up. That's my friend. The question is simply if they like the 3 tracks that have sparked their interest, will they make you re-record them? Right?
Not really
No?
that so much as, let's say you have a completely done album that is excellent, just hypothetically.
Of 12 songs or about?
Yeah, and then you start releasing them, you don't
Uh-huh.
have the numbers, so you use 2 or 3 at a time to build your numbers, and then you get your numbers. Now you have self-released those. You've distributed through like CD Baby or something,
Right.
and you've built your numbers. Then they become interested in you. Will they use those?
Oh, the additional tracks?
Can you then license that project and have them re-release it to a larger audience?
Why not?
They do that.
Sure, of course they do. You know, they don't want to spend money, they're companies. If you put a fully produced master on their table that sounds great, of course they're going to know with it.
Even if you pre-released it independently.
But that's not what you just said. What
Well,
you just said is if you recorded it out but only released 2 or 3 tracks and you held the others in reserve.
No, I said you use 2 or 3 at a time, building your numbers, releasing 2 or 3 at a time the way you said, until
Okay.
you have your numbers.
But if
your album
okay.
is totally done. You have a delivered
The part that's
product.
unclear in your question is you said until you have your numbers. Do you mean releasing 3 to get some of your numbers and another 3 to get more of your numbers and another 3 to get more until you've
Well, you
released
gotta
all
keep
12
feeding
tracks?
people. You gotta keep them interested. So you release
I'm just trying to understand your
one,
question.
and
Are you
yeah.
saying that by the time the label's interested, you've released the entire album's worth of
Maybe
material?
you've released 6 to 9 of them.
So then,
Just saying.
But you've only released them to your 5,000 friends, and there's
You
a
can't-
whole big world out there.
you can't just release songs to 5,000 people.
I understand it goes digital, but would they take it off of CD Baby and then re-release it?
Well, that would depend on your deal with CD Baby. I've cautioned people for years about which deal they sign with them because, and I haven't looked at their contract in years, but their older contracts locked up your rights for 3 years.
Oh.
And I was very vocal about how I didn't think artists should sign that deal. I prefer TuneCore, even though there are downsides to TuneCore. At least TuneCore was fire at will. And if you had aspirations of getting signed to a major label, you want your aggregator to be a fire at will deal.
Interesting. Is that still true that they have?
I haven't looked at their contract in at least a year or 2, so I don't know. But I think it still is true. Last I heard, CD Baby's deal was what they call a non-exclusive deal. Actually, a whole chapter about that in Confessions of a Record Producer. On exactly this subject. The so-called non-exclusive deal is not really a non-exclusive deal because if you make a deal with 2 different aggregators, you'll get a lot of tangled credit information, because both aggregators are gonna pipeline and upstream the songs to the same services like iTunes and Pandora and Spotify, etc. So you could end up with the same track being aggregated through two different companies. And that's a bitch.
What about the orchard?
Hang on, I want to finish with your question.
Sorry.
So, the answer to your question is it depends, unfortunately. But having said that, if your track sounds great, why wouldn't a major label want to release it? Why would they want to re-record it? In the old days, they would
I'm
have
not saying they would
re-recorded it.
re-record it. I'm just saying, look, if I release, if I'm using I have an album done, if I use it to build my fan base, can I still shop it to record A&R over time as I'm building my numbers? If I'm not gonna release the whole thing.
Well, that would violate the rule that I've been teaching here for the last 45 minutes, which is don't start shopping it until you have the numbers.
Okay, so I get the numbers, but I've only released them as onesies, twosies.
That's fine.
Then I shop that, but I'm wondering if I can shop the
Depends on
whole
the
album.
contract. Depends on
You have to see me afterwards. I'm just not understanding your question. So come see me afterwards. Yeah, who else?
What
Yes.
about the orchard? You're familiar with them?
Yeah, sure.
Do you know what their contract is like?
I haven't looked at it in a while, but they had a pretty decent contract, as I recall.
What did he say?
The Orchard. He asked me what I thought of The Orchard. They're a decent company, you know. They weren't in the beginning. There was a lot of problems in the beginning, but they cleaned up their act quite a bit, and that was many years ago, so, yeah.
How much of a tie between artist management and A&R is there?
How much of a tie between artist management and A&R is there? A strong one, extremely. In the before time, A&R people would sometimes sign an artist that was signed to a management company as a favor, because the A&R guy might have wanted artist A managed by manager B, but manager B said, I'm not letting you sign that artist unless you also sign this artist over here. Try to bundle them, basically. So the ties are pretty strong, and a lot of times A&R people will not sign an artist unless they're being managed by a company that's on a certain approved list. Same with lawyers; they won't let you hire a lawyer that's not on their approved list. Do you know how the lawyer gets on the approved list? He doesn't negotiate very hard. Think about that. Who else? We have a couple minutes left. Okay. Oh, yes.
Do you know if DistroKid is Fire Well?
I'm sorry?
DistroKid?
What's it called?
DistroKid?
No.
It's a distribution website. It's $20 a month unlimited.
Oh, yeah, I heard about this last night.
Okay.
I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
I just learned about it recently, so I'm going to look into it.
Yeah, that's the platform.
I hear good things,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
I don't know anything yet
Cool.
for myself. All right, well, I guess I'm going to wrap it up a couple minutes early. I know the tech guys will like that. Jay, thank you. Jay back there did a great job on the audio.
All right, Jay.
And I'll hang around for a few minutes. Anyone wants to book, let me know. I'm also speaking on another panel, on Jeff Weber's panel at 1 o'clock.